tax return time. You should have your W-2 forms already. David Torrance joining us on 710K. I'm sorry. Sorry, Bill. I went on ahead to the script. Bill Dendy joining us on 710K. You are a CPA and money manager. Yeah, I think David would have a hard time since he's just a workplace culture expert. We need to talk about real numbers with Bill Dendy, CPA. All right, Bill. What's the first thing that folks should do to avoid having the IRS come back and audit you?
One of the first things to make sure that you do is report all the income that they know about. It's too easy to overlook one 1099 or one W-2, or somebody say, well, I know I made some interest in that account, but they didn't send me anything, so I'm just not going to do anything about it, because the computer systems will automatically line up all the W-2s and 1099 income and make sure that the numbers add up together. So it's just too easy anymore for the IRS to do a quick audit to see if you reported all the income. And once you start triggering that you didn't report all the income, then you are subject to other issues that you don't want to get into.
Oh, yeah, that's
the first thing is report it all.
Yeah, 10-4, and that's a real pain in the butt for folks getting out of bed right now, working for a living, who are contract workers, who have multiple companies, multiple vendors, multiple contracts that they're working at any given time. Anything that is above, $600 likely will generate a form from that customer. And if you don't claim that income, you're going to get a letter sometime in the summer from the IRS.
Absolutely. And I have people all the time saying, well, I didn't receive anything from them, so I didn't think they sent anything in. It was usually that the address was changed, or they sent the 1099s out late, or some other issue. So make sure we do that. Number two is to just avoid the simple mathematical errors. And I know it sounds crazy in today's world with all the help that we have with filing these returns online, but still one of the biggest challenges is when people do a pencil and paper return is they just don't add the numbers up correctly. And so it's mathematical errors or an inversion of things like Social Security numbers, where they flip the numbers and keys up. It doesn't make sense to the IRS. So it creates that little paper audit as well.
Bill, I think one easy fix for that would be to Efile, to do the software thing and input the information so that the computer catches you next time that you mess up. Let's say the following year, since you do it again, likely with the same software and a continuation, there's a thread there that goes back and compares numbers for you. That might be able to catch those very simple mistakes, right?
Absolutely, and you're right on target there. That is an easy thing to do, an easy fix, and it's still, from the IRS, one of the number one reasons for audits is inversions of numbers or misaddition.
Yeah, and you can't fool the computer.
Go away.
Yeah, you invert those numbers, the computer say, no, that doesn't make sense. That number is not on file. Joining us on 710 KURV, CPA Bill Dendy.
Unless you consistently make a mistake. You got your Social Security in back. Unless you consistently make the same mistake on your Social Security number. And I have had folks that came back with that issue before. But you're right. Most of the things go away when we start to e-file. I'm sorry. Oh, Tim, that's an area that they keep coming back on, and that is the charitable deductions. If we have more charitable deductions than seems reasonable for our income, that will create an automatic, what's this all about? And then they may follow it up. And for a lot of folks, those charitable deductions are not the cash deductions. Cash deductions, that's easy. We can do a trail for a check or for money that we paid to the church or whatever. But it's when we get those boxes of goodies to Goodwill and things like that, we say, hey, there was probably $1,000 worth of stuff in that box. Well, anymore, the IRS is asking us particularly what items were in that box, and even when did we purchase them and what did we pay for them. Now, I know most people don't keep those kind of records. We don't know what we paid for the jacket from 2 or 3 years ago.
How do you itemize something like that? How do you inventory something like that? That's a good point.
And that is the biggest challenge, because it used to be that they didn't ask for that much detail. Now, generally, people are going to put thrift shop values in there and use a software program oftentimes to help look up what is the thrift shop value. And it's not what we paid for things. It's what you could sell it for at a resale shop. And it's a lower value. But if we're beyond the thrift shop value, that triggers a red flag as well. Or if our deductions are such a high amount compared to our income, that can create the red flag issue from the IRS. Yes, and I say get all the deductions we're entitled to. Or folks all the time say, "Well, I don't want to press it," and it's an issue that if we can substantiate it, absolutely we want to take it. There's no reason to not take a deduction that we're entitled to.
Yeah.
But we don't use the price we paid for things. We make sure that we're in the bounds of using.
You would think that substantiation would suffice just by showing a receipt from the local Salvation Army office and the value of what you claim. You'd think that would be enough, right?
This was a big challenge that the charities that depend upon this type of donation were up in arms about several years ago, because it was a stricter standard, but it hasn't been as big of an issue except for those who are pressing it. And of course, you can imagine how easy it is for those who would take advantage of the tax code to have mystery boxes of things going in, that the receipt that you get from the charity is oftentimes a blank receipt that you fill in yourself.
Okay. Well, I see where that you would get a problem with something like that. All right, Bill, thank you much. Bill Dendy, CPA, joining us on 710 KURV.